Okay, it's Saturday morning. We've still got tons of snow outside. This is the great and glorious Nick Dutch coming back again with a few delightful tarot readings for various people on YouTube who've submitted their requests. Naturally, if you want to have a reading done as part of the weekly tarot show, then you yourself get in touch, send me a message or whatever, and I'll try and get something sorted out for you. We've got a couple to do today. The first one is a lady who's also living in the UK, and she's looking for work and just wants to make sure that there's going to be a job coming her way. Okay, so we'll just do a quick reading and see what's coming up. This week I'm not going to give out any names because it's much more a question of preserving anonymity. Some of the questions we've got are a little sensitive. Okay, so let's start from the top and see what's coming through for you. Alright, well, we do have some relatively bad news for you because from the outset we've got a sense of applying your energy, trying to get a feeling of control. A great sense of communication, but also there's some conflict signs associated with this, as well as a sense of struggle and strife, as is labelled on the card. But in the long run, we do actually have signs of what looks like financial happiness. The main message of this reading is the fact that there is probably no work coming for you within the short-term future, probably even within the first 3 or 4 months of today's date, unfortunately. And that's why we've got so many signs relating to conflict. So the main message of this reading is initially to come to terms with your current situation, the fact that you haven't got any work coming in and everything is a bit stressful, but also a sense of keeping your hope going. Now, on the strength of this reading, I would say that it might actually be worthwhile to consider doing something self-employed. As you've got so many mercurial type signs here, namely signs relating to essentially air and intellect and healing, it would be wise to suggest that you were probably too underemployed in your previous work anyway. So it might be worthwhile thinking about what skills you have learned and trying to take it from there, and research what it's like to set up your own business, find different ways of doing it, find out about websites, and take it from that point. I feel that self-employment would work out much better for you. Okay, now we got another reading for a young guy. He's living in the west coast of the USA. All right, he's got a girlfriend already. They've been talking rather a lot, but the relationship hasn't actually progressed at all. He was wondering whether it's right to stay or should he just basically tell her to go away. So we'll just have a quick look. We'll do a separate reading, and based upon the 8-card relationship methodology that I use, and we'll take that and see what's coming through. It's already looking quite interesting. So here we go. Alright, the force is on your side of the reading, a need for change, but you've still got a hell of a lot of love going for her. So, I mean, that's the 2 of coins reversed. We've also got the 2 of cups there. Very strong signs of the lust and desire for partnership. The forces between you within the suit of cups are definitely very loving, but also not quite connecting properly. That's why it's the Queen of Cups reversed, okay? On her side of things, it's demonstrating her character is a little angry, a little passionate. She may think a little towards the material, probably going through some forms of financial suffering as well, and that's impacting upon her ability to be able to understand where you're coming from and how to turn this around. So she's intellectually stuck in a rut. She needs to be told that essentially money isn't the be-all and end-all of everything. It's much more a question of the fact that you are 2 people who are in love, because there is love there, and that's essentially what is important. So as we move to the future prognosis, the sense there is that of happiness in a very long term, which is brilliant, and also a sense of there being some pleasure developing as a result of communication. These 2 cards here for the 3 and 6 month time frame, they're all about communication. So basically you've still got much more of a foundation to lay down before you can get there, and it's her just focusing on the basic mundane physical world, which is causing a lot of the problems. So keep the communication going, don't give up hope yet, and just try and give her some entertainment and help just to raise her self-esteem so she can think about other things rather than just physical matters. I don't see her as a gold digger. I see her as someone who is suffering. Okay, there's a big difference there. Alright, now let's have a quick look and see what's happening for the next reading. We've got a character who's developing their spiritual skills and wants to see whether they're going to become really, really good, essentially, at things such as divination and mediumship within the coming years. Obviously, you know who you are, and just that's why I'm not giving out any names today, okay? Very interesting reading. The early signs are those of the craving for success, which isn't quite there yet, but also a sense of trying to get much more in the way of knowledge and a feeling of, I would say, unity with your skills, and a sense of trying to essentially make the supernatural work for you. So there's an awful lot more studying. There's very much kind of like an earth magic kind of feeling to this, and maybe you'll be well worthwhile looking at nature traditions to see whether there's something there spiritually which you can use for your benefit. As time goes by, many more signs of control. Within this very year, probably close to November, December time, you're going to be really rather good. And we do have very strong water signs here pointing out something of the spirit and something which you're enjoying a lot. I'm not really seeing any signs of you doing this work commercially, but it does seem to be somehow of spiritual importance to yourself in the here and now. So yeah, I mean, that's something which is going to happen for you. Your skills are going to develop. Carry on going to your development circle, okay, because you're going to get an awful lot of benefit from that point, and stick with doing your prayerful work and meditation work, because that's also going to steer you in the right direction, okay? Well, good fortune, God bless, and before I go, I'll very quickly show you how wonderful the weather is out there right now. We have got dazzling white snow, which has all been frosted over by ice, so it's now incredibly treacherous underfoot. So it's actually really rather tricky out there for us English people. And let's just see, there we go. That's what England's like at the moment. Okay, so if you are somewhere warmer, maybe you envy me or maybe you don't. Either way, good fortune, God bless one and all. Bye for now.